Good morning, traders. Today is, what is it, Wednesday? I don't even know what day of the week it is. Yeah, Wednesday, April 20th. It's 4:20. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, well, what do we have going on in the markets today? Let me just get that drawing tool up and running here. All right, well, we had a balancing area that we were inside of last week and earlier this week. We tried to look below 2 days ago and take the market lower. It didn't work out, so we pulled back up into that range. And then yesterday, the market worked its way to the opposite end of balance, which is to be expected. It then broke out of balance at the end of the day, which is bullish, in a spike up, which is bullish. We also closed inside that spike, which is bullish. So yesterday left us feeling pretty bullish. We did leave a double distribution, so we got some single prints we left behind, but that's pretty bullish that we rotated and then broke out to the upside in that second distribution. Okay, so coming into today, we're bullish. Then we see the overnight is net long, and we're going to open with a gap up. So opening above the previous day's spike is the most bullish scenario you can get. However, the first order of business is going to be the counter auction to that overnight activity. So when the market opens, the first thing we look for is a gap fill. The market trying to work its way down towards yesterday's high. If it is able to get to yesterday's high and it finds support there, that is bullish for continuation higher. Or if it isn't able, if it's only partially fills the gap and continues higher, that is bullish as well. However, if it works its way down to yesterday's high and it does not find support in there, that would be a little bit bearish, at least on the short term, to look for it to head down to the base of that spike, which is right about where that previous balance area high was, and look for support there. Okay, so the first order of business is the counter auction to the downside. Do we get that counter auction? If so, does it find support at yesterday's high? These weak references are automatically repaired because we opened above them. Repaired a gap with a gap. Okay, straight out the gate, that A period high is weak because it is the same as the overnight high. Increasing the odds, we'll have to come back up there. But the first order of business is the gap fill. Okay, seeing how the ticks are opening all the way above the 1,000 level, that is a sign we need to absorb some of that overnight activity. We need to give these ticks a chance to cool off a little bit here and head back down towards the zero line. So what price does as that happens tells us a lot about what to expect today. If price can stay above yesterday's range while we absorb that overnight activity, that would be very, very bullish for continuation to the upside. One potential gap fill trade on a morning like this is to short right at the opening. Once the market passes back through at this point with your stop above the previous high. It's not great risk reward in this scenario, but that is a setup. Also, I just wanted to jump out and look at the daily real quick. Where are my moving averages? There we go. So we have two moving averages here today. We've got the 200 simple moving average on the daily for the June contract, which we're dancing on top of right now. And then we've got the 20 just above us. That 20 is also lining up very, very nicely with this trend line on the daily from the beginning of this downtrend. So there could definitely be some resistance up there. We'll keep an eye out for that later if we do get a gap and go. Okay, so there's the pass back through the opening, increasing the odds. They're trying to fill the gap. Boss man, give us your view of the Nasdaq. Great question. So the Nasdaq not quite as clean of a breakout from balance as the ES. I would call this the balance area here. So we are actually back in balance on the Q, not quite as bullish as the ES. Obviously, they filled the gap, and they did not find support at yesterday's high. So that is a little bit less bullish. I would say where we found support just now is the first spot to find support. If we don't start to continue higher from here, the next stop is 14,192. And then down here at 14,159. If we start to break through this node right here, which I'm not necessarily expecting anytime soon, but if we do, that would be bearish to head back down, to the opposite end of balance. As this is now a look above and fail of the balance area. So if you don't get support in this node, you could be heading much lower. So keep an eye on that. Donkey, let us know when you're in a trade. Thanks in advance. No problem. Happy to. Scooball, hello to you. Welcome. Cyrus is here. Rev, greetings to you. Philip, good morning. John is here. Good to see you. Hustler forever. Welcome, welcome. Mick Stockster in the house. Greg H. Hola. Jocklo, good morning to you. Dean is here. David V. Good to see you. Jay Trader is here. McStockster missed the beginning because of the ads. Sorry, man. The problem is if I do the countdown screen, then when people go to watch the YouTube video later, it's like weird that the first 5 minutes or whatever are a countdown screen. But I hear you. Eldora, good morning to you. Welcome. The Knob, greetings and salutations, my friend. Trading Donkey, guess Netflix doesn't matter anymore. What is the I know what the rainbow flag means, but what does the unicorn mean? Unicorn gay market? I don't get it. Jack, good morning to you. All right, well, we're getting support inside the gap. We're back up above the open. So far, we're looking at a gap and go. This is what I was talking about. If they can absorb that tick, right? They can absorb that overnight inventory without pulling price back down into yesterday's range. That is bullish. That is a sign that there is momentum in this market. RK, weird YouTube algo room doesn't show up anymore. Yeah, it's because I took a week off. The algorithm always punishes me. When I take a week off, it stops showing me to people. It's really annoying. Oh, which reminds me, please push the like button. Those thumbs up really do help to tell it that it should start spreading the word once again. All right, NQ pushing into the 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles. There's some bot buying there, so we may get a little support. Yeah, NQ is not in the same state as the ES here. So definitely looking for support right around this 14, 150s area. If that starts to break, danger, high voltage. That's a look above and fail. Chief, good morning to you. Nicholas, good to see you. Ronald in the house. Boss man. Smash that like button. Thank you, sir. MW, good morning to you. Amir, Jesus Netflix. So a little bit of a gap on the old flicks as well. It's just a cold 28% drop. Oh, man. One bad earnings. And the company loses a quarter of its value overnight. At least they can't hate on crypto's volatility anymore. Donkey, were you holding puts on Netflix yesterday? That would have been quite a trade. All right, so we're looking for support here at 44.67, yesterday's high. If we find it, that is still the most bullish scenario as a gap and go. But if we start to pull back down into yesterday's range, the target becomes the base of the spike up at 44.5250. So do we get support here? Man, that's quite a tick. Donkey's saying no, he didn't buy the puts because he thought the pricing was too much. That makes sense. But he had puts on the NQ and Disney. Did okay, not great. That's good. At least your idea was right. You called it. All right, well, failing to find support at yesterday's high increases the odds we don't have the buyers for a gap and go, and we'll need to pull back here looking for new buyers at the base of the spike at 44.5250. If you had taken that short, crossing through the open with your stop above the previous high, you can go ahead and move your stop down to just above yesterday's high at this point, and that should get some continuation from there. Screwball, look above and fail. I guess, yeah, of yesterday's range, but I'd give the market a chance to find support at the base of that spike. at least for the ES. The NQ looks a little more bearish here. Yeah, I mean, NQ, it's a monitor for continuation to the downside now. So you got a single print we left behind yesterday at 14,100. Okay, there's a lot of volume right in there too from the overnight, so you likely find a bit of support there. If that breaks, you're looking to backfill the B period single prints. So the next potential support is 14,020. And then if that breaks, obviously yesterday's lows as the opposite end of balance. But that looks pretty bearish to me. But I'll give the ES a chance to find support at the spike. Dean saying he's got a pivot point at 44.27. Oh, you mean at 52 breaks? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if 52 breaks, then it's definitely, we're back in the balance area on the ES as well. And we know what that increases the odds of going to the opposite end. CCT, next time I should open NQ for a reference. You got it right here, brother. This screen is the NQ. You got it right there. All right, so the NQ testing the base or the node of volume right here from the overnight. Is that enough for support? If not, heading down to 14,020. Break 81, head to 20. All right, so we got support becoming resistance here on the ES. Good taper otherwise. Obviously, we don't like to see the exactness of this. They're buying and selling on an exact level. That is not long-term participants building a position. That is short-term traders gambling. Meaning the buyers here are weak. You want to talk about exactness? Look at this. The biggest cumulative node, the exact level where all the buying and selling is happening. Okay, so our last potential support here for the ES, right here at 52.50. Can it hold? If not, I get bearish as a look above and fail. John, obviously your focus is the ES. What are your thoughts on the NQ versus the ES? Why do you prefer the one over the other? The NQ is just too volatile for me. It has too big of moves. It's like a little more sporadic moves and much larger moves. So just the way that I trade, like a lot of times I'm early on trades. That's my biggest problem as a trader. Is like I often get into a trade and then it goes against me for a little bit and I got to like be patient and wait it out. And then it comes back and goes my way. So with the NQ, you have to have stops that are like just so far away from your entry because of the amount of volatility that it just doesn't work as well for my way of trading. It's much easier with the ES just because it has less volatility. And I find it easier to, like intraday, I find it easier to understand what the ES is doing probably because it's a much larger collection of stocks, right? It's like 500 stocks. So there's just a lot more push-pull, kind of leveling it all out a bit. All right, so when we opened this morning, value was higher than yesterday's value. We have now pulled it down to being overlapping to higher. So that is a neutral to bullish signal as opposed to just bullish. And we also have the value area pushing right up against the low of the day. So I'm not sure this was the support just yet, but it could have been. Xavier, this could be called a bull trap. No, not at all. It's bullish right now. I know it doesn't feel like it because it's been going down so far today, but we are outside of the previous balance. We've got value overlapping to higher. We had a spike up yesterday, closed inside the spike, and then opened above it. All those signals are bullish. So we haven't actually gotten a single bearish signal on the ES anyway. We haven't gotten a single bearish signal yet. Pulling back down into the previous value area, that would be bearish. Beginning the initial balance to the downside, getting the B period low below the A period low, that would be bearish. But we haven't actually gotten any bearish signals just yet. We're very close though. So like if we were to find support, if this taper we're seeing right here, I mean, this is weak. We should test this level at least once more. But if this taper is us really running out of sellers, we do find support here, it will have actually been a bear trap, not a bull trap, if that makes sense. Price advertises lower to bring in the sellers and then takes the money and runs. Xavier, stop calling me boss. I'm not the boss of you. Champ. Yeah, you can call me champ. I'll take it. All right, so we're getting that taper. We're starting to see. fewer and fewer sellers are willing to do business down here. Do we have support? Can we get those ticks back above the zero line? Oh, yes, we can. Chief Professor? Why don't we just go with Charles? That one works. Scooball NQ is making lows. Yeah, I think it feels like the ES wants to go higher and the NQ's tugging at it. It won't release the Kraken. Oh yeah, man. Look, they've pushed through the support there. I guess they got that big cumulative support right now. Right in here. But that's a look above and fail. Clear as can be. So potential support around 14. I think it's 04 or whatever. And then down she goes. Design up. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with on Pappy's lap as an analogy. I'm not sure I want the YouTube algorithm seeing that people in my chat are commenting about things being on Pappy's lap. Speaking of the YouTube algorithm, we got 101 champions here right now, but only 63 likes. Some of you have not yet given me that thumbs up, and I just wonder why. What it's going to take to earn that click. All right, so we got a weak low here. Sorry, a poor low. So that is in need of repair. We often get a push away where we can look for resistance to come back down and repair that low. And if we do, we're getting back into balance, so that'll get me bearish to head down and test, 4444. Train Donkey watching Billie Eilish Hot Ones. I love Hot Ones. That's one of my favorite YouTube shows. That dude who does the interviewing is so good at asking questions. Mackie Mac. Click for a verse of Charles in Charge. I wonder what it would cost for me to like buy the license to use that song as my like opening song every day. I want Charles in charge of me. All right, so remember, this is the push away from the poor low. So we're looking for resistance to come back and repair it. If they're able to get through here, that will actually be bullish because we should get sellers coming back to finish the auction to the downside. It's what one might call a when what should happens doesn't. Dude, these sellers selling right at the exact level. Shit is weak. All right, well, I can't believe I'm saying it on a poor low, but I'm bullish. Next target is testing yesterday's high. Okay, next potential resistance will be yesterday's high or the halfback. But if we get through those, I'd be looking for further upside continuation. Xavier, is the gap closed? Yeah, the gap was filled when we got to yesterday's high at 67. S&P addict in the house. Good to see you, brother. Mackie, off topic, but is Netflix going to retrace 4 years from 1/31/2018? Yeah, I mean, that area is the next support. It's so funny when you think about it like that. It's like, in what? So since November, so basically this year, it's given back 3 years. Think about all the TV shows and movies they made and new customers they acquired and advertising money spent and all of this to grow the company, and boop 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 boo, elevator down. All right, well, I'd be expecting a little more momentum to the upside here. We should start getting some shorts covering. If we don't, we might be looking at a grind inside yesterday's spike. Amir, they are blaming it on 100 million users sharing passwords. No, I mean, the truth is the stock was overpriced. The shit was in a bubble for years. The old PE ratio argument. And that, them saying they're losing subscribers for the first time, was just what made people wake up. So like, oh shit, what are we paying for here again? It's also the competition too, right? There's a lot more streaming services now than there was, 4 years ago. Apple didn't have streaming 4 years ago. Who else? Disney didn't have streaming 4 years ago. There's a few others that are not popping into my head right now. Okay, so testing some resistance here at the halfback. 44.6850. If we're able to push through there, that is bullish for continuation to the upside. Thank you, HBO, another one. Okay, so we're getting short covering right through the halfback. No resistance there. Man, I really hate when they do that. When they create a poor low, but every other signal is bullish. It's very annoying. But we had a spike up yesterday. Opened above it. Values overlapping to higher. We broke out of a previous balancing area, increasing the odds of excess in the direction of the breakout. So everything except for that poor low is bullish. Paramount Plus, that's another TV streaming service that didn't exist. The list goes on and on. Arthur, hello everyone. On Pappy's lap. I told you that was a weird comment, man. Getting a bit of a liquidation on the Q here. All right, so if we don't find support right around this node at 59, I'll go back to neutral because this little push up we had was just short covering. So we need new buyers to step in now to keep the market moving higher here. We don't get them by like 58. We're likely to go repair that poor low. New buyers, new buyers. Trading Donkey FT71, Futures Trader 71, said that yesterday the big lots were all short and the small ones were buying. Seems like the same story today. Stairs up, elevator down. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about lot size, but it has been a grind up and then like liquidations down. Okay, week C period high. Once again, if we break this node right here, I'm looking to repair that poor low. This is where the buyers should be stepping in. Last time they stepped in, but they got nothing for it. Okay, there's a repair of the week reference. Gunk, referring to Futures Trader 71, says, I heard him talk about that this morning. He is so stuck on the randomness of market thing, though. Yeah, you know who else is stuck on that? Me. I would just say to any of you who have just started trading in the last year, what you don't understand is that the markets used to be much more predictable than they are now. Something has fundamentally changed. I would say it changed right about the time the like ape movement happened, when they started like not because of that, with the GameStop, not because of that, but I'm saying time wise, that was when it started to shift. And so if you're an old trader like Futures Trader 71, like these markets are really random, and it's frustrating. And you have to adjust your strategy to match it. Which is essentially just being much more fluid in your opinions. Much more willing to accept when a trade idea that you thought was going to work out doesn't. You know what I mean? Rather than getting stuck in the idea that it's going to go your way. It'll go your way. Just give it time. No. It either works or it doesn't, and you're out. David V, are they random because a lot of participants don't know what they are doing, or are they just tend to be random? Well, they're always random is built into it, right? A market has to be random. If it wasn't, it wouldn't work right? If there was something that always happened every time, participants would be prepared for it, and then them front running it would stop it from happening, changing it. You know what I mean? So markets are always random. But like the best way I can think to describe it is like, like charting patterns or whatever. Like it used to be if you were creating like, something that looks like this, right? And you were to draw it out, what you would expect is it's either going to break out to the upside, come back down, find support and get continuation, or it'll fail, break out to the downside. You know what I mean? Like you just would expect something to happen. But in these markets, what happens is like you get it builds that perfect thing, then it breaks out to the upside, then it comes back down, then it goes back up, then it comes down, then it goes down, then it comes back. It's just like, what is it doing? Why is it happening like that? Why were the people willing to buy up here, but not right here when it came back down? You know what I mean? Why were they willing to sell up here, but not down here? It's like, it's just very random the way it moves. And I just mean intraday. Big picture wise, I mean, the market's going to do what it's going to do. But I just mean intraday, the way it bounces around, it is moving much more randomly than it used to. I've got my conspiracy theory. I think it's AI. But what do I know? Symbiotic be the water. But when the water is transferring from the teapot to the teacup, does it know what shape it will be when it arrives? Or must it wait till it gets in the teacup to become the cup? Gunk, but if it's AI, then it's not random. It's the AI making it do it. Yeah, okay. So what we're talking about is the definition of the word random. You're right. I use the word random to describe behaviors that are unusual to what I'm used to seeing. Douglas, you didn't just grasshopper us, did you? Bro, I'm grasshoppering every day. That's what we do. I'm over here spitting wisdom. Donkey, if you don't know, you don't know, you know? Oh, good call, Donkey. I didn't even realize. All right, guys. Well, I was so distracted that I didn't even realize we're in the C period, and the brigade members are patiently waiting for me to switch over to the private stream. So thank you all so very much. I really appreciate it, and I will see you here tomorrow morning. If there's anyone out there that has not hit that thumbs up, it really, really does help me. And I sure would appreciate it if you'd smash that like on your way out. Mark, good to see you, brother. Too bad you came right as I'm leaving.